Really quick show of hands. Who remembers or who thinks they remember talking about author's purpose last year? Think you remember? Or you do remember? Raise your hand. All right. I like how many hands I'm seeing. That's a good thing. Now, when we talk about author's purpose, there's usually three main kinds of author's purpose. There's a way that we normally use to help us remember the different kinds of author's purpose. There we go. Okay, so to remember the different kinds of author's purpose, we usually use letters. We use the letter P, the letter I, and the letter E. So you can also think about pie, like a piece of pie. Now, for those of us who remember from last year, when we're talking about author's purpose, when we talk about the letter P, what does the letter P for author's purpose mean? Violet, what was the letter P for in author's purpose?
I
Hmm. Purpose does start
why
with the P, but what these letters help us with are the different reasons why an author might write something. So each letter tells us a different reason why. Okay, so the letter P is for one reason, the letter I is for a different reason, and the letter E is for the next reason. Who remembers what was the reason that started with the letter P? Kaylee. Persuasion. Awesome. P was for persuade. Well, a little bit too big. Do that. Okay. All right. So P is for persuade. Who knows what does it mean to persuade? Jaylene, what does it mean to persuade?
I was ready for the next.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll remember that. I'll call on you for the next one, okay? But who can help me out with persuade? What does persuade mean? Jada, what does persuade mean? A little bit louder, Jada. Sorry. Mm, when you think about something that's going to happen, that's called a prediction. Like you're saying what you think is going to happen. But that's a little bit different than persuade. Kylie? Okay. So that's a good example of something you might do. And I think you explained it pretty well. To persuade is like when you are trying to change somebody's mind about something, make them think something else, or to make them agree with you. So that could be an example of if you wrote something saying about whether it's a good idea or a bad idea for us to have phones in school. That could be for persuasion. What's something else that you might try to persuade someone about? What's something else you could try to persuade someone about? Violet.
So here's another example. So someone kind of
So that is an excellent example. An ad for anything, whether it's for presidents, whether it's for hamburgers. Ads are always written to persuade you. They always want to change your mind. So when you see an ad for, like you gave an example, somebody running for president, their ad is going to tell you all the reasons why they think that they would make the best president. Or sometimes they tell you why they're better than the other person, or the other people that are running to be president. When you see an ad for hamburgers, they don't just tell you, "Oh, you can buy our burgers, I guess. They're fine." Kind of. They're going to tell you all about how their burger is delicious and hot and juicy and it's got a bunch of flavor and it's, I don't know, bigger or cheaper or whatever. And sometimes they tell you, "Oh, but if you go get a hamburger from these other people, it's gross and it's cold and it tastes disgusting. It tastes like boogers. I don't know." But they try to tell you all the bad things about the other one and they try to make you think like this hamburger, oh, it's the best hamburger ever. And I don't know if you guys noticed that whenever you watch, especially for like food, like when you watch commercials for hamburgers, the hamburgers, when you see them in the commercials, are these big, fluffy, juicy hamburgers. And then sometimes you get them in the bag and they're squished and they look very different. But it's because they're trying to convince you. They want to show you how good the burgers can look because the next time you get hungry, they want you to remember that commercial and to go, "Oh yeah, I remember that Sonic commercial." Or, "Oh man, that burger from Sonic looks so good." Or, "Oh, you know what? I saw that commercial for Popeyes earlier. That chicken looked nice and crunchy and spicy." Or whatever the commercial was for, whatever the ad was for. Yes, Violet.
saw that.
That is a fantastic example. So Domino's had that commercial that they put out recently, and they showed you right. They showed pictures of other food that people got delivered, like tacos and like hamburgers and stuff. And sometimes the tacos were like crunched, or all the stuff had fallen out, or they showed like hamburgers that were all squished, or they were like messy. And you're right, they were going around to people and going, "Look at how good our pizzas look when we deliver them. Look, there's nothing wrong with them. Why don't you just order our pizza? Don't order tacos or hamburgers. Order our pizza. Look at it. It looks so pretty." And they do the same thing. They're trying to show you all the bad stuff about everybody else and then show you all the good stuff about them. Because the next time you get hungry, they don't want you to go, "Oh, Taco Bell sounds really good," or "Oh, Whataburger sounds delicious." They want you to go, "Domino's sounds like the best thing I could choose." And that's exactly what an ad is designed to do. They want to change your mind. They want you to think next time you're hungry, you think about this restaurant. Or the next time that like you're gonna vote, you vote for this person. They're all done for to persuade you. They all want to change your mind. Okay. What about the I in our pie? So we said the P was for persuade. What about the I? What is the I in the pie? Jaylene, you said you remembered, so I'm gonna call on you. Jaylene, what was the I pie for? Awesome. The I was for inform. And who can tell me what does it mean to inform? Kylie, what does it mean to inform? Bella, sit up. Okay. So what are you doing when you say like that you're informing someone that somebody threw up? What are you doing? You're giving them what? You're giving them information or facts. And is that why you thought, Kylie? You thought of all the food in the commercial, and if you ate it all, you'd. So you're right. You're giving them information or you're giving them facts. Think about the story that we read earlier, the one about the lions. That story, that passage, that piece of text gave us facts. It was written to inform. Yep, about lions. So when somebody writes something, when they write a piece of text to inform, they want you to learn something. They want to give you facts, they want to give you information, so at the end, you learn new things. So like in the case of the one earlier, we read and we learned about lions. Okay, last one. We know that P is for persuade. We know that I is for inform. Who can tell me what is the E for? Nakai. Entertain. Good. That one is the one that's hardest to pronounce, I think. Entertain. Now, who can tell me what does it mean to entertain? Alexa? Okay. Okay, but what does that mean? That it's, you said it's entertaining them. What does it mean to entertain them? Who can help her out? Because you gave a good example when you're watching Netflix, and if you're watching like Despicable Me, you're being entertained. But what does it mean to be entertained? Eating? It can. It's not always to make you laugh, but it can be. Bailey? Okay, something you like to watch or see, but in the case of writing, you wouldn't just see it, you would what? Because you don't watch a book. What do? You read it. So in the case of a book, it's something that you like to read. Now, Gideon mentioned earlier laughing. I said yes, but not always. What if you were going to read a scary book? Would you want to be laughing in a scary book? No. If a book was supposed to be a scary book, yeah, Nakai, go ahead. If a book was supposed to be a scary book, how would you know that you're entertained? The book would what? Alexa? It would scare you. It should scare you if it's a scary book, right? What about if the book was what if the book was about like something sad, if it was a sad book? Then the book should make you what? Reading? Be sad. So it's not always about one emotion, but to entertain means to make you feel something. And it depends on the book or on the movie that is entertaining you. So, Alexa, you brought up Despicable Me earlier. And Jadian's right. If you were watching Despicable Me, you'd probably be sitting there laughing, right? Because it's a funny movie. You should be laughing. But if you're gonna watch a spooky movie or a scary movie or read a scary book, you wouldn't want to sit there and be reading your scary book and go, ah ha ha, that's so funny. Because it's a scary book. Scary books, normally you read them not to laugh, but because you read them and you start like, you feel spooky and you feel scared, you feel nervous. And if you're reading a sad book, you're reading at the end, you're probably like, and you get real sad because that book was sad. It made you feel something. Yes, Jadine. You're right. You're gonna feel an emotion, and the emotion depends on what the author wants. If the author wants to try to make you feel happy, you'll feel happy and you'll laugh. If the author wants you to make you feel nervous or scared, you'll feel nervous or scared. If they want you to feel sad, you feel sad. And sometimes a very entertaining book or a very entertaining movie could make you feel more than one thing during the movie. Who here, just with a show of hands, who here has seen a movie or read a book that made you laugh in one part and then feel scared or feel sad in a different part? So that was an entertaining book or an entertaining movie. So it might not be always the same emotion. They might make you feel happy and then a scary part comes and then you go back to feeling happy afterward. It could change and go back and forth. It doesn't always have to be the same thing. So I know like a good example is some of the like the Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine. He's written a lot of them. But in a lot of the Goosebumps books, they'll have parts that are a little bit funny. So you might have a part where you laugh, and then a part later on where like you're looking behind you, you're freaked out, you hear a noise in your house, and you're like, ah! So some parts make you feel nervous and scared, some parts make you laugh. And it just depends on what part of the book you're reading. So those are made to entertain you. They want you to feel an emotion. And I like that you said that, Jaden. You're absolutely right. It makes you feel something. There's some kind of emotion that will come out that you'll feel if you're reading something that was written to entertain you. So take a look at our book that we're reading so far, the Watsons Go to Birmingham. What do you think the author's purpose is for this book? Do you think the author's purpose is to persuade, to inform, or to entertain? Bailey, what do you think for the Watsons Go to Birmingham? Why do you think that?
They
Mm-hmm. You're right. So I'd agree with you. I think this book was written to entertain. And I think so far there's been a couple of different parts, right? We have the part with his brother who got his lips stuck onto the car. And they were talking about them stretching out. He tried to kiss his own reflection. They talked about the part like where like earlier we talked about how his new friends were kind of poor. They didn't have a whole lot of money. Or how his old friend stole his dinosaurs. And those are two different emotions, right? One of them you might feel happy about, you might laugh about, and the other one you feel sad about. So it's not always the same. You'll feel different things depending on the different parts of the book. And there's tons of books and movies that are written to entertain you. And some of them, yeah, some of them have just one emotion the whole time. You're just going to be scared or you're just going to be happy. But some of them like to go back and forth. They like to change. Kind of like what's the name of that movie? Inside Out. Inside Out is a great example. They even have the different emotions in that movie. And there's different parts where you can see that she's feeling angry and parts that she's feeling happy and parts that she's feeling sad and all sorts of things. And the movie does the same thing. There's parts of it that are really funny, parts of it that are really sad, parts of it that might make you angry, all sorts of things. But that's a good one for entertain because it's showing you what it might look like and it's kind of giving you clues about like, hey, maybe you should kind of feel that way. So what's going to happen is we're going to watch a short video of someone reading a book and we're going to see if we can figure out what the author's purpose is. But since we're going to watch a video, I need everyone to make sure that your microphones are off and that your cameras are off so we can watch this video nice and... Yes, Jadine. You're right. So books or movies can make you feel scared too if they're scary books or scary movies. And there's plenty of them. Like you guys are getting some great examples in the chat of movies that have parts that'll make you feel scared. And a lot of times in movies that are like meant to make you feel scared, they'll have little parts that are funny so that you can kind of relax for a little bit and then go back to being scared. I think that's one of the reason why I think scary movies are my favorite kinds of movies, but I think it's for that reason. Is there's lots of different emotions that you can feel. You might feel like happy one part, you're laughing, and then another part, everything gets spooky and scary. So I think it's fun to go back and forth and feel those different things. Yes, ma'am. Yep. And a lot of them will try to have parts where you can feel like not quite as scared. You get to relax a little. Okay, so we're gonna watch this short video, and it's gonna read a book to us, and we're gonna see if we can figure out the author's purpose, why the author wrote this story.
We are going to read I Want a New Room by Karen Kaufman Orloff, illustrated by David Cotreau. Dear Mom, I know you think I should share a room with Ethan now that we have baby Annie, but here's why I shouldn't. When Ethan sleeps, he sounds like the cat coughing up fur balls. Why can't you move Annie in with you and give me my room back? Signed, your very tired son, Alex. Dear Alex, go bother your father. Signed, your very, very tired mother. Dear Dad, you have no idea what it's like to share a room with Ethan. He sticks crayons up his nose and barks like a walrus, and he snores like Grandpa Ralph. So how about giving me my old room back? Please don't say, go bother your mother. Been there, done that. Love, fed up Alex. Dear Alex, sorry we had to move you out of your room, but Annie's a girl, and Mom says girls need privacy to do girl stuff. Not sure what that is, but I'm guessing it has to do with hair and makeup. Love, Dad. Dear Dad, Annie is a baby. Doesn't have any hair. And if she wore makeup, she would drool on it. By the way, did I mention Ethan broke my skateboard and lost my brand new Captain Creepy action figure? The kid's out of control. Dad, love, your seriously upset child. Alex. Dear Alex, you know 4-year-olds are a little careless. You were just like him at that age. Remember when you fell into the cake at Grandma's 60th birthday party? Good thing the candles weren't lit. Why don't you have a heart-to-heart talk with Ethan about respecting your property? Love. Dear Dad, thanks for the advice. Now I know exactly how to handle this. Love, your diplomatic son, Alex. P.S. Diplomatic was one of my vocabulary words. Dear Ethan, this is your side of the room. My side of the room. Stay on your side, Alex. P.S. Don't touch my stuff, or else. Dear Alex, do you realize you gave Ethan the side of the room that doesn't have a door? I just found him jumping up and down on his bed, yelling that he can't come out to take his bath because Alex said so. Fix this problem when you get home from soccer practice, or else. Love, Dad. Dear Dad, okay, I told Trampoline Boy he can use the door now. Honestly, Dad, you see what I'm dealing with here. Please give me my room back. I promise I'll keep it really, really clean. Love, neat and tidy Alex. Dear Alex, does that include cleaning the iguana's cage? I've noticed an unusual smell coming from that general direction. Just thought I'd mention it. Love, your concerned father. Dear Dad, let's not change the subject. Here's the thing. I'm practically grown up. I want a new room. Plus, I think I should get rewarded for all the A's I got in school. Love, Alex, the super student. Dear Alex, nice try. But if I remember correctly, you got 3 B's and 1 A. And I think the A was in lunch. Love, Dad. Dear Dad, even Stinky's dog Lurch has his own room. That dog is treated like a king. He's got 6 pillows and his own TV. He and Stinky watch cartoons and eat cheesy popcorn every single night. I'm not even asking for a TV, just one little room. Love, your human son, Alex. P.S. Stinky got a D in lunch. Dear Alex, no can do. Love, Dad. P.S. Stinky scares me. Dear Dad, it's more than the room. It's the principle of the thing. Why do I, the oldest and most important kid, have to suffer just because you and Mom had another baby? Does that seem fair? I don't think so. Love, your number 1 son, Alex. Dear Alex, yes, you are very important to us, but so are your brother and sister. However, you make some good points. A boy your age needs his own space. Maybe we could build you a special place of your own. Love, Dad. Dear Dad, now you're talking. We could add a whole new wing into the house. I can have my own bathroom with a hot tub, skateboard ramp, and bowling alley. What do you say, Dad? Here's a floor plan. Love, Alex, the architect. Dear Alex, slow down there, buddy. We're not gazillionaires. We can't build you a condo. I was thinking of something like a treehouse. We can build it together. You won't have to share it with your brother unless you absolutely want to. Love, Dad. You mean it,
So
Dad?
she's playing
I
Roblox.
do, Alex.
Okay. There's a little bit left of that story, but it's almost time for us to go to PE. So before we go to PE, I want to talk about the author's purpose. So who can tell me, in this book, what do you think the author's purpose was? Was the author trying to persuade us, to inform us, or to entertain us? What do you think makes the most sense for this book? Jadine, what do you think? Persuade. What do you think the author is trying to change our minds about? But is it our decision? Do we get to decide if he gets a room or not? No. So he's not trying to persuade us. So what do you think? Why do you think the author wrote this book? To entertain? Bella, what do you think? Do you agree with that? Yeah, to entertain? What are some of the emotions that you might have felt so far in our book? What are some of the things you might have felt from this book? Brianna? Okay, it's funny. It's got funny parts. Has anyone else kind of felt like he did? If you had to share a room with like a younger brother or sister, or you got mad when you're playing with them? Some of us say no, some of us say yeah. I think that's kind of relatable, that you can get upset with your brother or your sister about doing different things that you don't like. So I could see maybe a little bit of anger too. Like if you know what it feels like if your sister or your brother is always touching your stuff and moving your stuff, and you're like, oh, just leave it alone. It's not even yours. So you might feel maybe a little bit of anger, but I agree with you. I think a lot of it's really funny. Like I said, we don't have the time to finish it, but we will finish it another day. For now, go ahead and go to PE, and I'll see you all back at 2.